All right, it's the Wait for It Seattle podcast. Brian's out this week, so it's one Kevin and two Danny's, Daniels, whatever you guys are called. We got Danny Williams, our new writer here at Seatown Sports. We got our frequent guest, Daniel Sally, both subbing in for my co-host Brian. How are you two doing?
Doing good. Yeah, thanks for having me on. This should
Yeah,
be fun.
it's good to have you on, Danny and Daniel. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's good to be making another appearance. I'm always happy to sub in whenever you need.
I mean, it's kind of tough. We're in August, so like the Mariners are interesting to watch. And if we recorded this podcast maybe 5 years ago, I don't know what we would be talking about besides just Seahawks preseason. We'll get into Seahawks preseason. By the way, this is episode 62. We usually kick off the episode talking about famous Seattle athletes that wore the number 62. I can't think of anybody off of the top of my head unless you two can.
I'm usually good
Evan,
with lineman numbers, but
number
62 is not giving me
62.
anything.
Okay, I'll just do a quick Google search and see if anybody comes up. Chris Gray from who's
Oh,
Chris Gray from?
he was he
Seahawks.
was on the
Yeah,
Mike Holmgren era
yeah.
offensive lines.
He
He
started
just wasn't named Walter
120.
Jones, so he didn't get credit.
He started 121 games in a row. That's
Wow.
Yeah, he was
actually,
he was a starter in the Super Bowl year.
oh wow,
Yeah.
one of the longest tenured Seahawks of all time. 11 seasons. That's like a long time. Yeah, sorry.
Here's a
Go
little
ahead.
trivia question for you, Kevin. The left side was obviously Hutch and Walter Jones. Everyone knows that. But
Oh,
Chris Gray was the right guard. Can you tell me who the right tackle was?
Sean Locklear.
Boom. Nice.
And then center was Robbie Tobeck. I only know this because we talked about Robbie Tobeck last week.
Yeah,
So
number 61, episode
yeah,
61. There you go.
yeah, there you go. So we got a variety of topics to talk about, and we'll end the episode by getting to know a little bit about our guy Danny here. But the first thing we have to talk about is the Seattle Mariners. Uh, Kind of have had a rough go on their East Coast swing. Daniel, did you catch any of the games, or did you catch all of these losses that have been piling up?
Yeah, the Baltimore series, I watched the win, and I guess I have watched all of these games now I think about it. I was thinking there was one I missed, but because of the rain delay, I was able to get home in time to watch the second Baltimore game. So yeah, I've watched all of these games, and it's hasn't exactly been the most fun I've had this season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're only a game and a half back. Um, Danny, who? By the way, who's your team? Danny is a UW student. He lives in Seattle. Have you adopted the Mariners, or are you staying with
So
your team in the Bay? Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
funny so obviously I'm UW everything for
Yeah,
college, right?
yeah.
I'll support my San Jose State Spartans every now and again just
Let's
because
go.
from San Jose.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Giants, Niners, Warriors,
Okay.
Sharks occasionally
Yes.
when they're
Yeah.
good. But no, I think I've grown into a little bit of a Mariners fan. I mean, they are in the American League.
Yeah.
So I call them my American League team. Not that that matters as much anymore with like interleague
Yeah.
play all the time and stuff, but yeah, I think I've like when I go to games, I'm actively rooting for them.
That was
So
my
I think
next question. Yeah.
yeah,
So we're opposite. I've been to Giants games, I've been to Oakland A's games, and sometimes I'm like, am I cheering for one? A's are easy. I'll never cheer for the A's, right?
yeah, in division,
Giants are
right?
a little different. They're in the National League, and the Mariners like they only play them one season. I mean, one series in the year. And I went to that series. It was like the home opening series
Hmm.
where our friend Victor Robles injured himself.
Yeah,
We'll
I
get
remember
into
that.
that. Yeah. But that that's good to hear. So we would love for you to join the bandwagon. Um, if the wheels don't fall off of this
Yeah,
thing. Um, the pitching has just been like George Kirby yesterday at the Little League Stadium, and then today Logan Gilbert got shelled. That's the issue, which is nuts, but it is the pitching. I mean, the offense put up 7 runs today and they lost, right?
Well, we've kind of seen a mix of everything on this road trip because like there was the 1-0 win in Baltimore, and then those last couple games against the Orioles, it didn't seem like we could do anything to get a run across.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, I thought Wu pitched great, but couldn't get any runs across there. Friday was awesome. I mean, the pitching wasn't good on Friday, but it didn't matter. We scored 11 runs. Like I
Yeah.
wish we could do this every night, but even 5 or 6 a night would be good. For it to be, especially with the way George Kirby threw last week in that first game in Baltimore, to see him perform that way on Sunday night, I was very caught off guard. And I feel like Gilbert's a guy who, even when he has his not so great nights, it doesn't usually look like it did today against Philly.
Yeah.
So that was also a little bit surprising. So I don't really know what to make of all that right now. I'm very grateful for the way Brian Wu has pitched all season long. To know that we're getting 6 innings out of him every time out has been huge, even when he doesn't have his best stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and these guys don't have to be ace quality. They just literally have to maybe hold the opposing team to 3 runs. If the other team's up 3-0 going into the 5th, I still feel pretty good about the Mariners' chances with the lineup. Like even today, they scored 7 runs, even though they gave up 12. Right, so I think the offense is there. I'm wondering if the pitchers are just going through things, and that they'll kind of just the depth and the consistency will kind of show up in the next couple of weeks and hopefully all of September, because now we're in the race part of the year, right? Like people are watching the division standings. I like to go to Fangraphs and see the playoff odds and all that. So right now, if you're listening, Mariners are a game and a half out. They've taken care of business in the AL West. It would have been nice to win more than they have on this road trip, but hopefully things start to turn around. Speaking of turning around, I mean, they're bringing back, well, we thought that they were going to bring back Victor Robles in September. And I haven't seen any news of anything suspension wise, but just to catch everyone up, Victor Robles is in Tacoma, AAA, and he's rehabbing right now. And it looks like, I mean, if he's playing in AAA, he just needs to kind of get his reps, and then he'll be ready for the big leagues. And I'm sure they're looking forward to helping him, but his help. But the dude kind of lost it last night. He gets hit by a pitch, and then he threw his bat at the pitcher. And the video clip, I keep on saying, you don't see the bat. I don't think that's on camera, so you don't know, like, did you like aim for the pitcher? What is your reaction to this? Like, what did you guys think?
Well, for starters, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I condone throwing bats at people. I don't. So I don't want it to sound that way. I understand the frustration he's feeling because he's been hit, I think, 4 times or 5
Yeah,
since he
and
started
one of
his
the other
rehab.
dude, yeah, I think the same dude hit him earlier in the week is what I was reading.
Yeah, so that's frustrating. And my understanding is that the same pitcher hit him in the big leagues last year while he was
Okay,
pitching
so
for the
maybe
A's.
that was it. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's not great. You've been hit by the same guy at least 3 times, to our knowledge. I get it, and maybe he shouldn't have thrown the sunflower seeds on the field from the dugout when he was on his way out. That I don't want to condone any of this behavior. I understand the frustration and wanting to lash out after being hit again when you're just trying to work back. And the last thing you need to do when you're working back from an injury is hurt something else, getting hit by a fastball. That's no fun either. But throwing the bat is wild, and it's very difficult to throw a baseball bat. The way he threw it, like to get that thing 60 feet and make it to the pitcher, like I don't think he's capable of doing that. So I don't imagine that thing came anywhere close to hitting the pitcher. Maybe that's me misunderstanding physics, though. Maybe it did get close. I don't know. Based on the reactions, it didn't seem like it got to that point. But I'm very. He doesn't strike me as the type of guy to do that. So I think that's where I was the most surprised.
Yeah. Danny, I'm going to put you on the spot. Like, what should the punishment? Should he be out for the season?
So I kind of liken this. I've never seen someone throw a bat like that before after getting hit by a pitch in my life. The closest thing I could think of is, if you guys are familiar, this happened a while ago. It's a prominent memory in my sports fandom when Hunter Strickland threw at Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper charged him and threw his helmet off at him, and he threw
Yeah.
his helmet and didn't even get close to hitting him. He just like spiked it on the ground. So like you were saying, Daniel, was impressive that like Victor Robles actually got the bat in the air.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, like helmets
but
and
I
bats aren't easy things to
yeah
throw because of the shapes of them too.
yeah they're not meant to be thrown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I think for like suspension purposes, it's weird because it's in AAA.
Yeah.
So that kind of throws a wrench into things. But I don't know. I think it'll definitely be he'll miss some time for sure. I don't want to say
Mhm.
it'll be anything super severe just because he didn't throw like any punches or anything. I think that's the
Yeah.
big thing. So I don't know. I think at the most 10 games would be my guess at the
Okay,
most.
that would
But
be nice. That I think. I mean, maybe I'm just like so aggressive. I'm like, that's a bat. Like that you used
yeah,
a weapon. You like. I and no one knows. Like I don't know how close it was to this dude's like body. Maybe it was just completely off. Like
yeah,
Robles was like, dude definitely lost his cool. And
yeah.
all of us have been around sports long enough to know that like we've been around people that lose their cool. So I'm specifically thinking of an LMU basketball practice where a coach was just so upset during the practice and and I'm sharing all these stories because I feel like the statute of limitations has passed. Like none of these coaches coach together. Like I'm not like all these players don't even play basketball anymore. Anyways, the dude just punted, like took a basketball in this like imagine if you're in heck ed and like someone took a basketball and just like punted that thing like as far as they could. And this coach just lost their cool, like just and took it out on this poor basketball, right? And like he just punted it in the in the gym with irregardless, like didn't care of like what it was gonna hit. Like there's lights in the ceiling, there's like an upper area where there's people working out. I could have been in the way, like I could have taken the punt, like he didn't care. Um, and I'm just like thinking like, okay, so that's one part of it. The other part of it is like where like I would be so scared of a bat coming out at me. Like I was thinking in the car this morning when I was driving, like what would be the equivalent of like, okay, like the closest I got was like being and this wasn't even there, but like a football player getting like a defenseless hit, like just like you're just standing there and a guy just comes in and tackles you, right? Like hockey, like usually like people are ready to fight, right? Soccer, there's no equipment to throw at people. Sometimes in football, well, who's the dude that threw the took the helmet and like
Oh, Miles Garrett.
yeah,
Yeah.
Miles Garrett. Like that's maybe the closest to this. And I just couldn't like basketball, you don't have equipment to throw like to use against another person. So
Mhm.
maybe the Miles Garrett thing um is the thing. But yeah. Uh so 10 games. Daniel, do you think he's out for the season?
No, and I think like he said, 10 games max is probably about right. I feel like five
Yeah.
or six is probably what it should be. Maybe I'm off the mark here, but I feel like given this all the circumstances we've just discussed, I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, I don't think they're going to use this and give him the rest of the year or one of the lengthier suspensions like we see when someone gets popped
Yeah.
for PEDs or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen. I think Jose Ramirez when he punched out Tim Anderson last year only got like 5 or 6 games, maybe 10.
Oh
So I
yeah.
just I don't see it being that lofty of a suspension, especially given the fact that he'd been hit several times. I think that should be taken into account. Um, a suspension is definitely warranted. Don't throw your bat, but I don't think that they're gonna like lay down the law here
Someone
necessarily.
did it on Twitter. They did this like comparison, like the the Mariners were doing like the little league ritual at the end of the game, like shaking the other team's hands, and then right below that was Victor Robles like chucking the bat at the poor pitcher. It was pretty funny. Speaking of punishments, Michigan football. got the hammer laid down by the NCAA, or maybe not a hammer. Like, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts, and then we can talk about like the implications for Husky fans. But um, do you like, what's your reaction? Do you think that Michigan got what it deserved? Should the punishment have been harsher or lighter? Like, was it commiserate? Danny, like, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
I think the punishment definitely should have been harsher. I feel like it was just kind of a slap on the wrist. Like Michigan getting fined $20 million to still have their rings and their trophy. Like,
Yeah,
what school with like what Power Five school wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? Like if
for
you just
20
went up,
million.
yeah, if you just went up to a school and was like, hey, if you pay $20 million right now, you win a national championship.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and like Harbaugh's not there anymore anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And they added, I think it was 2 more games to Sharon Moore's already like suspension, and the 2 games he was missing already anyway, they were playing like preseason games, so it doesn't like matter.
Yeah.
It's just
I didn't like Harbaugh's like reaction to it. Like, he's just not going to own up to it, and it's just kind of funny because I feel like basically Pete Carroll did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'll own up to it. Pete Carroll did the same thing. USC was facing this. He leaves for the NFL. And his legacy's great. Like, no one's going to argue. Like, he has a great legacy. Situations are a lot different though, right?
Yeah.
And USC, they vacated the national championship. They got a harsher penalty. I don't have it in front of me, but they were being punished for Reggie Bush essentially getting benefits, right? Which athletes do now legally, right? What happened with Michigan, from my understanding, it was just pure cheating. There were rules, they broke them. The details from the report are pretty great. Like, this dude Connor Stallions, like, he named like the whole operation KGB. Like, he like threw away evidence. Like, if you did that in for anything, like in a real court, if you destroyed evidence, like, that's serious. That's like that's a crime, right? Like, this dude, it's insane. Daniel, did they get? Was it? Do you agree? Same thing. Slap him.
Yeah, it's hard for me because obviously punishments are necessary here.
Yeah.
But Harbaugh not being there is a huge factor for me. Like, it's hard to really punish them, at least their like current team, with Harbaugh not being there anymore. Now, if we want to get into the weeds of vacating wins and that kind of stuff, I don't typically put a whole lot of stock into that because it's like, we were there, like, we saw the game. Like, they won the game.
Yeah.
So vacating wins is tough for me. I never feel like that carries a ton of weight because even if they were to vacate the national championship, we'd still be here 20 years from now, especially us being like, well, Michigan won the national championship that year, even if the record books show an empty spot. I mean, but, I think maybe up that fine a little bit if you really want to, punish the institution. I feel like right now, every athletic department in the entire country wants and needs more money. Every single one of them, even the ones that have the most money, everyone wants more money. So you maybe step that fine up a little bit. That could really, I think, send a message. But other than that, I don't really have much of an idea on where to go with it.
It's hard to do because you are punishing it's hard to balance because you are punishing the rest of the school. So in my head, like a good punishment would have been like, let's just like cut their NIL. Like, so under the House settlement, each school is allowed to go up to the cap, which is whatever, 25 million. Like, let's just cut their cap so they can only spend this much on NIL. What does that mean? It just means let everyone else in the Michigan sports, all the other sports teams and all their players are going to get less money because all of it's going to go to football, right? Like, it's just not going to work. So it's really hard because we're thinking of through a professional lens, but this is also college, and it's that same idea you're saying. You don't want to punish the people that are there right now when they had nothing to do with it. In my head though, like, I think Husky fans, and I'm okay with it, and Ohio State fans are probably like, both fan bases are like, yeah, that 2023 national championship doesn't count, right? Like it doesn't count. For the Michigan people, it probably does. They're okay with it. They're like, everyone's cheating. Like this is just, we got caught. We had an idiot dude. Have you seen the Netflix documentary?
I've not yet. Yeah.
It's pretty good, but now like he just lied in it. So like that, whoever made that documentary just got like, I mean, there's all this stuff that came out in the report. Like it, yeah, they need to redo the documentary is what they need to do.
Part
yeah.
2.
Yeah, and honestly, like Daniel, to your credit, I think of your brother David, and we were living through that 2023 run. Like even though they lost the national championship, that is probably the best football team in all of our lifetimes. Just that entire season, and like we can just think about how great it was, and like sure,
I'm never going to try and claim that national championship.
Yeah,
though, I'll tell you that much. Like
yeah.
It would be one thing if they like blew us out of the water schematically and did something crazy. Like they got pressure with 4. That's why they beat us. They were the only team all year that could get pressure with 4 against a Joe Moore award-winning offensive line.
Yeah.
So, credit to their players.
And it just adds kind of like spice to the rivalry, right? Like now this game going into Michigan, like Husky fans, like there was already spice to the rivalry before the national championship, but this is kind of like a renewed thing. Like Michigan's always going to be circled. I hate Michigan more than UCLA. I kind of hate them more than USC at this point. So they've been, I'd say after Oregon, it could be Michigan. After Oregon, Wazoo, and then maybe Michigan.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can't, I mean, I know Wazoo's not in the Big Ten with us, but that's definitely one that's always
painful to lose against them, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, if you were like listing the pain to lose against, Wazoo would be above Michigan, but I think Michigan's third, which is nuts because
okay with that.
Yeah. Legacies are a funny thing. Sue Bird had her statue revealed yesterday outside Climate Pledge. Lenny Wilkins just had his like maybe a month ago. And I know at T-Mobile Park, who do we have? We have Griffey. Do we have an Edgar statue?
Yeah, it's up by the right field entrance. It's like up first the third base side there.
Got
outside.
It makes sense. And then Dave Niehaus is inside. Do you guys have any ideas of who's next or who should be next? There's nobody. They don't have anybody outside the Seahawks, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I think if they wanted to go the Seahawks direction, some sort of Earl, Cam, and Sherm rendition would probably make sense. Or like, I mean, I think at some point, like, it's too easy of a call to do the Felix perfect game pose. Like that has to be put up at some point. I just don't know if that'll be next timing wise. I think it all depends on what Felix's Hall of Fame case looks like over the next few years, and if they're gonna wait for that to see if they're gonna retire the number and that kind of thing. Because then, like they did with Ichiro, then you announce the statue. When you do that, you can kind of parlay all those things together. But Seahawks wise, we're coming up on we're getting close to like Richard Sherman Hall of Fame candidacy and Earl Thomas and Cam and what that's going to look like. I feel like some sort of way to pay homage to the Legion of Boom would make a lot of sense to me. Or maybe Marshawn doing his patented backwards dive into the end zone.
You're hurting Danny's ears because he's a San Francisco 49ers fan. And you're just like reliving every bad game they had for like a 5-year period.
Yeah, my 10-year-old self is crying right now. Those teams did ruin my childhood. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Hey, it's all right.
I really am. I think the 49ers are a very fine and well-run organization, but at the same time, like we're talking about statues of Seattle athletes. And these are some very prominent.
You got to do it.
Athletes.
Yeah. Well, they each have like businesses. They all have businesses in Seattle too. So, I think the Legion of Boom, it's kind of weird because you want them to be recognized as like them, like they all have their fair individual accomplishments.
But Sherman has the moment of like that tip in the end zone. Like that would be something if you want it to be a statue of a specific play. That's probably the one. Or Marshawn Beastquake backwards dive.
Yeah, holding his crotch. Yeah,
I wasn't going to mention that, but
I don't know if they. I mean, that would be the obvious thing, but it's like, I mean, I guess it's okay. Like, I don't
It
know.
happened. I don't know.
I mean, there's statutes of worse things in the world. Like, that was just such a great moment for Seattle. It's just such a Marshawn thing. Like, he can get away with so much, and it's just like,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
okay.
in UW wise, I don't like.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
so
know
we
if
have
we're
Don
anywhere near.
James. We have don't we have who's the other coach?
Jim Owens.
Jim Owens has got a statute. I
I mean,
mean,
at some point, like I need the statue of Penix shooting the arrow. I don't think that's
yeah,
happening anytime soon.
yeah, that'll be a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, I was gonna say Penix throwing a fade to Rome in the end zone. Rome's
Yeah,
by the entrance to the stadium. Mike's kind of where by Don James is. I think that'd be
yeah. I
cool.
feel like the statute is like it's the okay. So there's like Team Hall of Fame, right? There's jersey retirement, but then statute is like that's probably the highest like level of
Yeah,
recognition. So they announced that they do the thing for Ichiro at the jersey retirement thing, but yeah, I think my threshold for a statute, it's like you have to be something outside of just like being really good for your team, being a really good player in the sport. Like there has to be something outside of that. And for Sue Bird, that's like easily explainable. Like
Mm-hmm.
she is an icon in women's basketball, and women's sports in general. So it makes sense to have her statue. Ken Griffey Jr., a great example, like wasn't just a good man or a good baseball player. Like he defined the 90s era. Uh, maybe Edgar's like maybe on the lower end, but he's also like a symbolic player for that like 90s era team besides Griffey. And so there has to be something like a little extra. And I think like you can make the argument for the Legion of Boom. Russell Wilson's too polarizing.
Yeah,
Um,
that would just
yeah,
spark a debate that I have no interest in
yeah.
listening to or participating in.
It's just crazy. We put this thing on TikTok. We ranked our top 100 athletes. It's been out there for a long time. We put Russ in number 10, and people are really like, he shouldn't touch the top 10 or he should be higher. Like, I don't think there's a more polarizing athlete in Seattle sports, which is like, it's nuts. Even when he was here near the end, people were like, we should move on. We should move on. Other people were like, nah, he's the best quarterback in franchise history. Keep him. Maybe that was just me. But
No, that's my guy. It still is my guy.
yeah.
I understand like things don't always end good with these types of situations, but
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna erase like a decade long period of this guy being ours and
Yeah.
being such a fan favorite. At least I thought he was, but
Yeah. Football though, man. We are second week of preseason, so we have one more week of preseason. Is that how it works? And then
mhm.
we're in the regular season. So we have our resident San Francisco 49er. I don't know if yeah, maybe I'll call you an expert and you can drop some knowledge on us. But me and Daniel are going to say statements about the Niners.
okay.
And then you are going to you can go nuts on us. But I'll go first. And I hear about the 49ers every day. Faced with a lot of people out here in the Bay. Okay, here's my statement. The 49ers have been on a downward trajectory the past 3 years, and they will have to undergo an entire rebuild to get back to contention.
I 100% agree with that.
Oh, wow.
I'm any of my closest family and friends would tell you I am a very pessimistic fan.
Yeah.
So going into the season, my hopes aren't really that high. Yeah, we lost a lot of not the big names. Obviously, we still have Bosa, Kittle, Fred Warner, Trent Williams, all those guys. But we lost a lot of integral, like kind of gel pieces, glue guys, like your Dre Greenlaws, your Hufangas, guys like that. That you just kind of like as a casual fan don't really like care that much that they're gone. But like those guys are the guys that put us over the top. I think having star power and aging star power, I might add, can only get you so high, but it's the depth. Like if those guys get hurt, like the depth we have behind them isn't great. And just from an overall standpoint, our depth is not good. I think McCaffrey is the only healthy running back on the roster right now. I think Patrick Taylor got hurt against the Raiders in the last preseason game. So yeah, I agree with that. I like that we signed Purdy to an extension. I mean, you had to pay him something. I feel like we didn't overpay for him, which is good. But yeah, I think I agree. I don't think this kind of core has enough left in the tank to make another super like deep push. I think they could still make the playoffs. Maybe sneak in there as like this. The NFC West this year is weird. There's no real like clear cut favorite. So if they do win the division, they could sneak in. But yeah, I don't think they're going deep anytime soon.
It's so interesting because I think the Seahawks fans were under the illusion that they could kind of like get the same amount, like the team could be still as good as the 2014, 2015 versions of the team and, you know, the years before that. But then it turned into just kind of playoff qualification mediocrity. Like, I don't know any other way to explain it. Like, they'd get the wild card spot or they'd win the West, but then they lose in the first or second round and they never touch the NFC Championship again. And I think the Niners could, like, they could do that, but to win the Super Bowl, you have to have, like, you have to be Chiefs level, you have to be like Eagles level, like you have to maintain, like you were saying, the depth of it all. Maintaining some of the pieces isn't enough. I mean, wide open. I don't know. We'll see. Daniel, what's your question for? What do you got lined up for Danny here?
Is it? We're still on statements, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My statement is that Kyle Shanahan is still one of the 5 best coaches in football, and I think as long as he's there, they're a threat to compete. And I don't know if it's Super Bowl contention necessarily, but I think in a division like you just said that's wide open, when you have that guy calling the shots, you have capable quarterback play. I think their defense is still going to be strong. They still scare me a little bit, and that's because I know that guy knows how to dial up a run game, and that's terrifying.
Yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah, Kyle's the man. For all the people who say like, oh, he's a choker when it comes to like the big playoff games and stuff like that, I've never once blamed him for anything that's happened. And I've witnessed. Really hard, man. Yeah, it is really hard. Yeah, a lot of teams would kill for the success the Niners have had the past couple of years. Yeah, I agree. Like his schemes and what he has and what he's able to work with like the pieces we have, it's brilliant. Like turning guys you've never heard of into almost 1,000-yard rushers. It seems like he does it every year. So yeah, that he's never a guy I've questioned. And I almost kind of feel bad for him at some points. Like when he came here in 2017, I believe, until now, he's progressively gotten more gray and more like he always kind of carries more of a scowl on his face now. And I think he's just so sick of people like blaming him for what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I buy that. I'm a big Kyle fan. Yeah.
So let me go ahead, Daniel. No.
I think things are a little complicated. Like going into this year, you just have like you mentioned the running backs already, but the receiver room, things are a little up in the air. And you know, you got a guy like Kittle who's getting older, McCaffrey's getting older, and I think Brock Purdy is a lot better than people give him credit for. But at the end of the day, like this is where a guy like Kyle Shanahan proves how good he is. When it's a team like this, we're going in, there's a lot of unknowns where by week 8, we could be like, wow, how did we not see this coming? Like these receivers we've never heard of are productive. These linemen we've never heard of are making cases to be all pro guys. Like, I don't know. I think bringing Rob Saleh back on the other side of the ball to run their defense is probably a good thing. They really seem to like him there.
Forgot he came back.
And you still have, I mean, I think Fred Warner undoubtedly has been the best linebacker in football the last 5 years. So I think what you said, Kevin, about Super Bowl contention and that might require a rebuild, I think you're probably right there, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a little bit scared of them in the West this season.
Oh yeah, I mean they're the Niners, right? Like, yeah. I you know, I'm interested to see what their over under is for wins on the season. I actually should look that up. Anything else on the Niners? I mean, Danny, what do you got for us on the Seahawks?
So I've been cooking one up. I was thinking about this before the episode. I'm I know a lot of people are down on Sam Darnold right now just because of how he played against the Rams in that playoff game. But I'm going to say this. I think the Seahawks will be a top 5 passing offense in the NFL this year, and I think JSN will be top 5 in receiving yards in the
That
NFL.
is damn.
This sounds
I don't
great to
know.
me.
Yeah,
I'm
it
in.
sounds great, but I don't know if
I
dude,
mean,
I don't know if I could buy it because I'm like everyone else. I wish I was high on Sam Darnold, but
I'm high on Sam Darnold.
dude, he's like maybe the worst quarterback in the division, right?
well, it
Yeah.
depends on if Stafford's
Yeah.
healthy or not.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Not saying that he's like compared to everyone else in the division, but he's bad. But like, I mean, he might be a league average quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what I
Above
saw
average
last
on a
season,
good
man.
league. Yeah,
He was a demon last year. I was at the
Yeah.
game too when Minnesota came in and beat us in Seattle. Like,
yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
like you said, it didn't
Daniel,
good.
he also had Justin Jefferson though. Like, let's be very clear.
We got
like,
JSN, man.
JSN is
He
not
just hurt
Justin
Danny.
Jefferson.
He's gonna be top 5. Also,
Yeah.
like, what if Cooper Cup's just still nice?
Yeah.
He's got a
I'm
little bit
trying
left
to
in the
think
tank.
of like
Yeah.
a wide receiver, and these guys show up in fantasy football all the time, where like like an older receiver just like balls out, way past what you think their prime is. That's a possibility. I mean, there's a reason why the Rams didn't sign him long term. Like he's, I don't, you know,
He's
maybe
had
I'm
a
just
tough time
down
staying
on.
healthy, which
I'm
is
down on the
a
Seahawks,
problem.
man. I think that's what's coming out. Is like I'm trying. Like, yes, they won. What was it, 9 or 10 games last season? And most people see Sam Darnold as maybe like a lateral. Like he's just as good as Geno, maybe a little better.
Yeah,
But just
probably.
being a little better than Geno, Daniel, that's enough to win the division. Sorry, I'm hijacking Danny's question.
I think that's enough to win the division when the division looks the way it does, and when we're talking about potentially having a top 5 defense in the whole league. I think that's a
Yes,
very real
that's a
possibility.
great point.
I really like Mike McDonald, and the reason I was high on our offseason is because it seemed like there were moves to fit the identity of the head coach, which I appreciated. Now, I'm not going to get myself too excited about this running game that we've been seeing in the preseason because we're not playing real games right now. But
Yeah,
I do think that Kubiak was a sensible hire to run the offense.
yeah,
I think Darnold, like you said, is probably lateral, but you also get younger there and you get cheaper there, which I appreciated. And you have a guy that just I got to imagine he's feeling good this offseason compared to years past, just because he finally put it together and had a season that was really productive, which
yeah,
hadn't happened before.
yeah. I think cuts are coming up too. I wonder if our boy Alfonso Tupatala is going to make the Seahawks
I would
roster.
love that.
Signed him 8 days ago. Maybe a train. Maybe he'll get one of those. What is it called?
Practice squad.
Practice squad. Yeah. Practice squad signs. Danny, anything else on the Seahawks? What else you got for us?
I was just gonna say, Kevin, you and Daniel both said that Sam Darnold is kind of a lateral move to Geno Smith, and I'm just looking up right now. Geno Smith, I believe, was top 5 in passing yards 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So if he's a lateral move, then Sam Darnold, people forget before last year, Sam Darnold was the backup to Brock Purdy for us in 2023.
I forgot.
Yeah, and when he'd come in, he wouldn't be a backup quarterback who just like hand it off or like throw like a check down. He likes to throw. He's not afraid to sling it around the field. And I said passing yards, not necessarily touchdowns, so he could throw a lot of picks, but he'll throw it a lot. So I mean, hey,
he was the quarterback in 2016 starting for USC that beat that team, handed UW its only loss in the regular season.
Yeah.
So that came across my TikTok, and I was like, I'm supposed to be getting like UW highlights, right? Because that's the algorithm. But then I got to the Sam Darnold 2016 game, and I was like, wait, this is not like I don't remember this game from the 2016 season, and it's 2016 season, and it's for good reason. Like I blocked it out of my memory because it was like the one weird game they lost. I think it was like 16-13. I didn't even look at the score.
Yeah, it was low scoring.
Yeah, Darnold was the quarterback. And it was at Husky Stadium, crazy enough, like that they
Yeah.
lost that game. So
Blackout crowd. We wore the all black uniforms, I think, with like the veterans patches on them,
oh god.
and like the
Yeah.
American flag decal on the helmet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that game's also the reason Coach Pete he didn't like going away from just the traditional purple golds at home. After that, I don't think we ever did it again.
I like that take a lot. I like that take. It brings me back. The alternate jerseys brings me back to the Arizona State game from 2023. We wore the all purple with the chrome helmets. I'm like, this is a recipe for disaster.
God.
And then lo and behold,
the helmet we have is too good to go away from.
Yeah, exactly.
The gold helmet, like that's a strong lid.
Yeah, and it's classic with the stripes too. Anyway, so like, I mean, hopefully Sam Darnold, USC to Seahawks, right? Pete Carroll had success. Maybe he can follow up on that and end his career here and get us to the Super Bowl, right? I don't think people
protect the ball,
that.
man. That's all I need.
Yeah. I got to give him a chance. We had Luke Braun here, who does Locked On for the Vikings, and he was high on Sam Darnold. He said if you give him a chance and just let him sling it and be okay with a 2-interception game, then you'll enjoy him. If you want him to be like a 3-touchdown, 4-touchdown guy with maybe one pick, like your expectations are too high and you're not going to enjoy it. But I don't think the Seahawks need that with this offense. They just need someone that can take care of the ball, sling it, keep the pass defense honest, and then run the ball, or keep the run defense honest, right? Like that's.
I just think things went stale last year with Geno with some of the red zone turnovers. It's like that. Yeah. It's not that you're throwing a pick; it's the timeliness of them. It's the down and distance. It's where you're at on the field. I mean, that type of stuff there were some games where that type of stuff killed us, and I would love to steer away from that, and hopefully new OC, new QB. Kevin O'Connell really seemed to like Sam Darnold. The guys in the Vikings locker room really seemed to like him. And I think Geno was well liked here, so I don't want to sound.
It's just always weird because I do think there's a level of, like, Mike McDonald comes in and Geno Smith is not his dude. And granted, Mike McDonald's a defensive coach, but I wonder if there's like a level to that, because Geno Smith goes to Las Vegas, joins Pete, and that's Pete's dude, right?
Yeah, they're bored.
Pete's the one that gave him the chance. Pete's the one that saw him thrive, and basically he had his comeback with the Seahawks. And I sometimes think, like, with a new head coach, if you really want to like implement your legacy, you need to bring in your dudes. I think there is a level of that with Kubiak, and then them bringing it, like drafting a fullback, like, right. This is a very like, all right, we want to have like this type of offense, kind of maybe want to mirror the 49ers, right? And have, be creative in the run game and in the pass game more so than what Pete Carroll was all about, right? So interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to the season. Danny, we're going to have you on to talk the Niners. I'm planning on having you on, talk the Niners, previewing the game, which is like week 1, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have you on again and just like grill you on the matchups and stuff. So that'll be fun. Okay. Let's move on. What do we got next? So we got, oh God, Taylor Swift. I don't know if you guys listened to the 2-hour video interview on the Kelsey's podcast, New Heights. I mean, I listened to an hour of it. She talks the entire time, and it's not that bad. You listen about like how someone learned about football for the first time, right? Like, it's a pretty extreme example, like Taylor Swift learning about football from like her NFL star boyfriend. My question for you guys is, are you tired of it, or are you excited by Taylor Swift being in the NFL? It's a weird question. Brian would maybe just like tell me to shut up, but I'm actually very interested in hearing what you guys have to say about the phenomenon.
Danny, you go ahead. I might be long-winded.
All right. I was very tired. especially because the Chiefs beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. I'm like, this is how could it get worse than this? They just kept showing her, man. But no, after seeing the Chiefs lose to the Eagles, I kind of want it to happen again, just so she can feel what it feels like to be just like a miserable NFL fan. Like be super invested in your team and then just have crushing heartbreak at the end because that's what all of us have to deal with. So I think that's good. But in terms of like just the NFL pushing her like as an agenda, I think I'm still a little tired. I did not listen to any of the podcasts, hand up, but I did see about all 15 of the clips that the NFL posted on their Instagram account.
Oh, they were posting things on the.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was on the official NFL account. It wasn't even like New Heights was like a collaborator on the post. It was just the NFL account. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to see all of these now. So yeah, I'm only hoping she stays committed to the Chiefs so that they lose in crushing fashion again. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely like a concentrated thing, right, by the NFL. Like, let's embrace this, right?
Mhm.
We're going to get a whole new demographic, or we have been getting a whole new demographic, and we're just going to nurture it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
She's the biggest celebrity on the planet. Like,
yeah.
You have to.
But. I mean, there's Taylor Swift fans posting videos about all the Easter eggs in the episode about how basically she's going to be the halftime performer at the Super Bowl at Levi's Stadium. So I think it's going to happen. But Daniel, are you like, would you be pumped about it happening? Like her being the Super Bowl halftime MVP, halftime MVP, Freudian slip, halftime performer, or are you just like over it?
Well, a few things, and I'm gonna be in a bunch of different directions here, so apologies in advance. But speaking from the halftime standpoint, for starters, I would be more than happy with that. I'm a Taylor Swift guy, and I also think the NFL is on a heater right now with Super Bowl halftime shows, dating all the way back to SoFi with Dr. Dre and Snoop and all them, and bringing out Rihanna the next year and Usher. I mean, they're just, I feel like they're on a good roll. I loved Kendrick's performance last year too. Yeah. I think I would be a big fan of that. I like Taylor Swift, and her being involved in football is not something I ever saw coming. But I also like Travis Kelce. I like Travis Kelce a lot. I like Mahomes. I'm not a Chiefs hater like a lot of people out there, and a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that I just am a Trent McDuffie guy first and foremost.
Yes.
But I like the Chiefs. I think the dialogue around them is not something that I love because it's just like it's downplaying what they've been able to accomplish. And I think the legacy of Patrick Mahomes is already something that's, so high and mighty. And I feel like at every opportunity, there's a lot of people out there that are just trying to take away from that. But like the run they've been on, even though they didn't win last year, like, sure, that's fine. I think they still won 15 games. Like Andy Reid's still really good. Mahomes is still really good. I feel like Kelsey's probably still got a little more in the tank too. So to see like him and Taylor Swift together, it's like kind of fascinating to me. Like it's still, even watching the video, I didn't get through the whole thing yet. Like you, I watched like the first hour, but it's like, it doesn't even feel real. It's like, how are these two people together? But then you watch it and like Taylor Swift in the interview is just like kind of normal, which is cool.
Yeah. It's so
Kelsey's like enamored by her. It's so fascinating. Like they're sitting right there next to each other, and when she's talking, he's just in awe. And I'm like, I gotta get behind this.
There's a portion of the interview where Taylor Swift is talking about how when she heard the news that she got ownership over her masters, which are her songs, and she was describing the scene where they were living, and she was like, yeah, Travis was just like playing video games. like, and then I went to go get him in the other room, and I was just like thinking about that. I was like, so freaking weird. Like, good for him. He plays in the NFL, he plays video games, and his pop star girlfriend is just in the other room, just hanging out. I mean, it's
getting the rights to her music back. And he shaved his head again. He's back on Team Buzzcut, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, so I think this Taylor Swift thing, I'm like convinced by these TikTok people that she's going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Man, this is a lot of Taylor Swift talk. But this whole thing
Fine
was
by me.
purposeful. Like New Heights has like obviously had their record. Like it's like the most watched podcast ever. I mean, amongst their episodes, I don't know. I mean, it's just like a clip is getting millions of views, and then for her, right? Like this is also purposeful. Like I don't know how many NFL fans will become Taylor Swift fans. I think it's more the other way around. Like Taylor Swift fans will become NFL fans. But it's just all very fascinating. It is like it's way better and way cooler than Russell Wilson and Sierra. Like Russell Wilson got worse, right? And there's no coincidence that you guys can hear sirens in the background because that was such a like they just became so cringe, and maybe people get cringy over Taylor and Travis, but I don't get the same vibe that I got from Russ. And I love Russ, but that whole thing.
I wanted Russ to be more cringe. I'm like, this is just who this guy is. I'm like, he seems happy. I'm happy. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm rooting for him now. Like, I want him to just ball out and be like comeback player of the year. I don't know if that's possible being a New York Giant, but like, that'd be cool.
Well, we'll see, man.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. This last part's pretty, I mean, this whole thing's unscripted, but I don't know what Daniel's going to ask Danny. And I know what I'm going to ask him. But to give you some background, Danny, do you want to just tell us where you're from and how you ended up at UW? And then I'll ask you a substantive question, but just introduce yourself a little bit here.
Okay, yeah. Hello, everybody listening. I'm Danny. I'm from San Jose, California. Big Bay Area sports fan, as I mentioned previously. And I got to UW, so I go to UW with my twin brother, Frank, who's the co-host of my podcast, The Cylinder Rule.
Yes, you got to plug it, man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just recording an episode before this, so a little back-to-back action.
Double header.
Yeah. So we kind of got to UW on a whim. We just applied. I mean, at first I wasn't even going to apply because at that time UW still had its own separate application. Like it wasn't on Common App. And then my brother and I were like, do we really want to go through all this? It's not even in the state. Like never even like, like what's in Washington? Like, I don't know. Yeah. But we took a tour of the campus, really liked it, loved the idea of having big time sports teams to root for. And so we're like, we both got in and we're like, yeah, let's just do it. We'll go. So there wasn't really anything behind it. We just both got in and we're like, yeah, why not? So yeah, that's how I ended up here.
Seat to Michael Penix.
I know.
You had 2 seasons of him, or are you a junior?
Two. Yeah, going into my senior year this year. So I got I really lucked out.
Like that, you went to the. Did you? I mean, the team went to the national championship.
Yeah.
There's Husky fans that have suffered their entire lives.
No, I know.
On campus, and they just have the most magical seasons. Like,
it was incredible. Yeah, but something about that season, being a Niners fan, losing the national championship, then a week later losing the Super Bowl was not ideal. That was a tough 2-week stretch. But yeah, other than that, it's been super great. I'm also a big UW basketball guy, which has been pretty unfortunate. Since I've been here, but hopefully they're looking up. So
So you're talking to 2 people who lived like the glory days of Husky basketball with Romar's best teams. Like we saw this team just get into that national spotlight. Those are my childhood teams, were like the number 1 seed 2004 Husky team with Nate Robinson, Brandon Roy, Mike Jensen. I could just name them all. And then
like
we had
names that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, Ryan Appleby. Like I could just rattle them off, right? And I know Daniel's a huge Coach Sprinkle fan as well. Okay, here's my actual Bay Area question, Daniel. I hope this doesn't steal your thunder, but the legacy of Barry Bonds.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so all right, it's a 2-part question. First, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? And then the second question, do you think? How would you describe how he's viewed in the Bay Area? Because I think that's a very, maybe the 2 questions are linked.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can take them both in stride or however you want.
Yeah, that's a good question. So Barry Bonds retired when I was 4. So I didn't get to watch him play at all.
Yeah.
But from what my dad is obviously a huge Bay Area sports fan as well. And he does not like Barry Bonds at all.
Oh, that's so interesting.
He was just an ass. I don't know if I can curse or not on this, but yeah, he was an ass. Nobody liked him. He cheated, right? It seems like people tend to forget that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe he makes it to the Hall of Fame? No, I don't really want him to.
So I thought you were gonna go the completely other way.
No way. No, that he wasn't a part of my childhood.
Yeah.
So I don't really have like the same like love for him as a lot of Giants fans. And right now, he's trying to like get back in the good graces of the people of San Francisco. I think for a lot of the younger fans, it's working. Just because they don't know the whole story about like his legacy and like all the controversy he was in as a player. And I don't really like that because I grew up with the teams with like your Tim Lincecums, your Buster Posies, Hunter Pence, like those guys.
World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were good dudes, right? You look at those guys like, man, like that's a guy I like watching play, and I'm proud that he's on my team, you know?
Yeah.
So, and my dad and my brother and I, we have this running bit where it's like, whenever the Giants have a big game or the Warriors have a big game, it's like, oh, there's a special guest in the crowd, and it's Barry Bonds. They always lose every time. I want to try and look it up to see if I'm correct, but every single time, the one that comes to mind is Game 5 of the NLDS when the Giants had their crazy season in 2021. He was like, oh, we're having a special guest throughout the first pitch, and then all three of us were like, please be Tim Lincecum. I know, UW guy, Giants legend, obviously.
Never. Tim is like
it's never. Yeah, he's a ghost. Yeah.
You'll never see him again in public.
But sure enough, it was Barry Bonds, and we went on to lose that series. So
he's got to stay away from the Valkyries who are about to make a playoff push here and not show up.
Yeah. I don't need him anywhere near my Giants right now. They're already in a tough spot, so yeah.
Daniel, you got something for Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna kind of go along similar lines, talking about Barry Bonds.
Oh shoot, I took your fire, man.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. You know me. You know I can act on my feet a little bit. So I'll kind of transition a little bit more through a basketball lens here, and bear with me as I kind of piece this question together. But for you, obviously, you know, given what you've said and you know where you're at age wise now, obviously the heyday of the Warriors, I imagine, is probably your best stretch of sports fandom that you've ever had. So for you, I want to know what your feelings are on Kevin Durant, because he obviously, I mean, I think he's someone where there's a few different fan bases out there now who have kind of, maybe troubled's not the best word, but for lack of a better term, like kind of a troubled relationship with him, or, you know, kind of a foggy lens to look at him through. I want to know what your feelings are on KD.
Yeah, so I don't really have any qualms with Kevin Durant. And that kind of goes along the lines of like how good of a superstar like Steph Curry is, because he was just able to seamlessly come into a team that won 73 games the year before and then just play elite basketball the entire year. That 2017 Warriors team is the best basketball team of all time. I will die on that hill.
I agree strongly.
Yeah. So yeah, when he was playing, I mean, you can only play with Draymond Green for so long and not want to pull your hair out. So I don't really blame him for kind of how it ended at the end. But yeah, when he was on the team, I never really thought like, oh, he didn't fit in, or he was being a slacker, or was making any like remarks about like the team or whatever. So yeah, I enjoyed his time a lot. I mean, the winning obviously helped, but yeah, I think he kind of hit that kind of, you know, personality of kind of wanting out early and being a slacker and blaming, you know, other parts of the team after he left the Warriors. And I think I would have had a little bit more disdain for him if we didn't win again in 2022. But yeah, I totally enjoyed his time, and I didn't really have any problems with him at all. And like I said, the whole Draymond thing, I mean, we saw it with Jordan Poole, obviously, a couple years ago too. So But
So
yeah, I yeah.
out of like the biggest San Francisco sports stars of the last, we'll say 10 to 15 years, like you got Steph, you got Posey. I don't even know who I'd pick for the Niners. Maybe like a guy like Patrick Willis or something. Who's like your all-time favorite San Francisco athlete?
So mine's kind of not an odd one, but a pick most people probably wouldn't go with. Mine's Klay Thompson. He was my favorite player growing up.
I wish
I
it was
want to,
Coon.
yeah,
Because I want to like him so bad, and I do, but like, man.
yeah, yeah, he's my favorite player growing up. I wanted to always play like him when I was playing basketball in middle school. I had his shoes when they came out, the Antas. Yeah, he was my guy. I remember I was in 5th grade when he scored 37 points in a quarter. That was awesome.
I forgot that happened.
I still go back and watch that video probably at least 3 times a year. And it's one of the only like YouTube videos that makes me like physically emotional watching it, just because it's so awesome. But yeah, he was my guy. Yeah, and then for baseball, growing up, my guy was Joe Panic, second baseman, slap hitting Joe Panic. Yeah. And then for football, when I was growing up playing football, I was a DB. I played safety. So my guy was Eric Reed. Growing up on those late Harbaugh teams. Yeah.
Goldson, Husky legend.
Yeah, no, yeah, Goldson and Whitner, they were hard hitters, man. Yeah, those teams were fun. Yeah, those Harbaugh teams.
To me, it's always good to ask these types of questions because, like, I think you go around and like anyone who's really entrenched in like a certain city and with those teams, like they're always. I think everyone loves like the stars, but I would never sit here and tell you that like. Ken Griffey's my favorite Mariner. I love him and I love Felix, but like I also love like Kyle Seager and like guys like that who are kind of just
or Edwin Diaz, 57 save version Edwin Diaz.
Hey, I got my Edwin Diaz jersey blessed by the Pope, man.
Yeah, that's
that happened.
One last question because we're on this jersey retirement thing and legacy and statute. So. Okay, I think everyone here can agree. Curry's jersey is going to get retired. Thompson's jersey is probably going to get retired. I mean, Iguodala's jersey was retired in February. Do you also retire Durant's jersey, and do you also retire Draymond's jersey?
I think Draymond jersey is an absolute lock.
Okay.
For me, the question for Draymond would be statue or not. I think he's reached that level.
Okay.
I think Durant's jersey gets retired. I think Iguodala kind of set the bar. I mean, I love Iguodala. He was the man. But he wasn't like a superstar with us. He was like in the Hall of Fame of glue guys. He's first ballot, but like he wasn't like a superstar for us. And so I think that since his jersey got retired, and I mean Durant won 2 Finals MVPs.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he's kind of like the Randy Johnson of NBA because when Durant retires, there's going to be legitimate questions like, where does he enter?
Yeah.
Like, if he had to represent a team, and I think it might be the Warriors just because he won the 2 championships, he got the 2 Finals MVPs, and it was a short stint, but it was a short stint everywhere he's been, seemingly. Like, he had a run with the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Randy Johnson, right? Like, had a long run with the Mariners, was with the Astros, but then had like a good stint, like 3, 4, 5 years with the Diamondbacks. And that was enough. So a weird parallel that I've drawn in my head with this knowledge of like thinking about the Hall of Fame and legacies. But yeah, I guess Durant goes in. I mean, I don't know if they do that with the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I don't think they do.
If they did.
That's a good hypothetical, yeah.
Yeah, it would be the Warriors. And I guess his jersey gets retired then too, right?
Yeah.
Like the 2 Finals MVPs, I'm like.
Yeah, that locks it up.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah. Well, it was great chatting with you guys, man. We covered Taylor Swift. We covered Steph Curry. We covered Clay.
Victor Robles.
Thank you guys for joining me. Yeah, Mike Jensen, we got the Ryan Appleby shout out in. Danny, you got to know these. I mean, I'm sure you've heard Ryan Appleby, but he is best 3-point shooter in Husky basketball. Although I don't think he holds any records. Yeah. Danny, I had my bachelor party I think it was 2021. we ended the night just passing around the YouTube Bluetooth, and we were just playing our favorite YouTube videos. Half of these were like Husky highlights from the mid 2000s,
That's awesome.
like the Brandon Roy mixtape. God,
That's
you
awesome.
talk about physical reactions.
Yeah.
To YouTube videos like a Brandon Roy highlight tape. Oh God, so smoothest basketball player ever. We got to end on that note, guys. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you again on this podcast.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining.